Welcome to News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa. Today is March 27th, and this is episode 43. A lot in the news today. President Trump has signed an executive order telling Department of Homeland Security to pay TSA workers. This is because the Democrats have again turned away from a proposal for funding. Now, there is in the works and waiting on a vote that would allow the payment and funding for everything but ICE and border protection. The funding that might be approved is funding with absolutely no changes to ICE and border protection or our immigration policy as it stands today. I'm hoping that it's rejected. Either they vote for the funding of DHS and everything else, or the Democrats get nothing. I understand that the TSA workers need to be paid. Now President Trump has opened that door. Democrats screaming this could have been done weeks ago. And that's not true. That's a lie. Because the Democrats wanted changes directly made to ICE before any funding takes place. And this has not happened. So it is a win for the Republicans and an executive order because the Democrats wouldn't do their job and do not take the border protection and immigration policy seriously enough that President Trump stepped in and just said, I'll sign an executive order, which he can do. And yes, he could have done that before, but he let the process play out the way it's supposed to play out. But you had so many people in Congress, Democrats, screaming to the Senate, don't pass this bill, that they couldn't get the 60 votes needed. They could get close, but they couldn't do it. And again, this all falls on the Democrats. So after weeks of fighting with the Democrats, I'm reading this off my teleprompter that I put on the side. After weeks of fighting Democrats on their calls to remove funding from Immigration and Customs Enforcement from any potential deal that did not include fundamental changes to ICE and border protection, the Senate will now vote, and they're hoping to be approved, funding TSA without any changes to ICE policies. I'm sorry, I'm still fighting whatever I'm fighting. So this is a win. TSA gets paid, and we still have ICE and Border Patrol. Now, funding for that is critical. Remember, a lot of that funding is included in the big, beautiful bill. So this still immigration and ICE are still functional. But what is not happening is that changes that were demanded by the Democrats, and most of those changes already have happened. This was a political move by the Democrats to use the employees as a weapon against the general flying public. And if they think they got away with this, they're not. This is far from over. And Trump's statement was their leader crying Chuck Schumer of making it clear where Democrats stand. And that is on the side of criminal, illegal aliens and not the American people. I'm going to sign an executive order that a Secretary of Homeland Security is to pay immediately our TSA agents in order to stop the Democratic chaos at airports, Trump said on Truth Social. It is not an easy thing to do, but I'm going to do it. So now they can't use that as a hostage deal. They were holding TSA and they were holding the American public, the flyers, and airlines hostage. And this will be played out. I think that everyone should be writing their congressmen and senators telling them, the House of Representatives and the Senate, House, the Congresses, that the failure is on the Democrats and the support for the Republican agenda. And Democrats should be telling their Democratic leadership, we're not voting for you. And my thing again is please vote. Always vote. Never not vote. That's a silly approach to take. And it's a dangerous approach to take. If you're so committed to voting for a Democrat, then vote for a Democrat. But vote. If you're not happy with that Democrat, then vote for a Republican. Vote for an independent. But don't vote for, crazy people or people that you really just can't agree with. That's what going in there and voting is all about. So hopefully this is order now. This part is over. It will take days for TSA to get back. I think those people that have called in sick all the time and stuff, they should be reprimanded, maybe even fired. And those that quit can't come back. Easy as that. The TSA job is a professional job, and there's training involved. But it's not training that can't be done in a matter of weeks versus an air traffic controller or a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. And I'm not taking away what TSA people do. It's very important, and they are professionals. They have to go for training and retraining, and there are first responders in sense against illegal activities being perpetrated on our airlines, threats against people. Very important. And I'm not saying, hey, you can just replace them and next day hire someone and show them what to do. No, they need training. But it's not training that is so hard that you can only take a certain amount of people to do that job. So if they were unwilling to work, fire them. And he went on to say, because the Democrats have recklessly created a national crisis, I'm using my authority under the law to protect our great country, as I always will do. Therefore, I'm going to sign an order instructing the Secretary of Homeland Security to immediately pay our TSA agents in order to address the emergency situation and quickly stop the Democratic chaos at our airports. The Republican, and this is me, this is not Trump now saying, the Republican proposal made weeks ago by those in the Senate, but was turned down by Schumer and company. This could have been done weeks ago. Weeks ago. And the Schumer and company turned it down. This is all going to be on the Democrats. No matter how they try to spin it, it's going to show the Democrats are more interested in protecting criminals, illegal aliens here criminally, and those illegal aliens that are criminal, and the 1.6 million illegals already on the immediate deport list. I don't see how the Democrats can sit there and look with a straight face or not with their eyes turned down that they think that keeping illegals here that commit murder is a good thing. I think since they've turned it into a political hotbed, that in the most respectful manner possible, we get the families of those people that have been seriously injured or murdered by illegal aliens to do commercials for Republicans. And have those people confront Democrats who vote against ICE. I mean, I just can't see that being a losing proposition as long as all those people involved do it on their own accord. You can approach them. If they say, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that, then that's it. Thank you. Sorry for your loss. We're trying to get these people out of the country, and that's it. You stop. But if you get people that are willing to do that and say an illegal alien, people that should not have been here, that should have been deported, caught, and were on a deport list but let go, and then, murdered or hurt my family because this guy in my state up at in the Capitol voted to keep them here. And this guy in this town made a sanctuary, and this guy in this city said, nope, police can't report them to ICE, and I think they should be called out. And this should be a national campaign. Gloves come off. Gloves come off. So that's my idea. I'm going to try to keep this kind of short today. It's been a busy week, and we're trying to catch up on a lot of things. The other big thing is the Supreme Court seems to be ready to say, make a ruling on mail-in ballots. And it seems that they're saying that mail-in ballots must be presented on the day of the election. That you can't they can't be presented afterwards, no matter what the postmark is. So if a letter is found 3 days after an election, it can't be counted. It must be delivered to the proper authority, election authority, no later than 12 midnight of the day of the election. Now, it could be delivered before, of course. That's easy to do, but not counted until the day of the election. This will affect, I think, up to 13 states that have voting, voting that takes place. It's interesting because if you do early voting, like a lot of these places do early voting, in September. And let's say in October 3rd, they find that, senator or congressperson, has done something horribly wrong or is accused. It gives time for the voter to go, I want my vote back. Because it hasn't been counted yet. I want it back so I could then redo a ballot. But then that answers the question, well, do you want the ballot? Okay, we'll stop the ballot. We can do that. But are you going to show up in person to vote now? And if not, we'll give you another ballot to fill out, but it must be here by election day. No later. No later. Polls close. But you can have mail come up till 12 midnight. And of course, if there's a snowstorm or something like that, or a hurricane, an earthquake, those are legitimate exceptions that could be brought to a court to say, we need time. We have them in our hand. We just can't get them to where they need to be delivered. And that can be addressed. All that can be addressed. So I think the Democrats on the funding is going to take a beating. I think the Democrats on voter ID they're going to take a beating on that. It's just sorry that they had to use people. They had to make the American public, they had to hurt them. They had to hurt them. And I think this is going to play a huge part when they're going to be asking for donations, when they're going to be asking for, support. And, they look at their history and go, this is what you've done, and this is what you did for the last year and a half. No, I can't support you with donations. I can't support you with voting for you. I think the Democrats in a lot of shaky states, they're in for trouble. Between the fraud, between the violence, between the lawlessness. How many businesses have closed because they were just stolen to death? People come in the store, they steal stuff, and they call the police, and there's nothing we can do about it. Put up cameras, maybe you need store security. They can't afford that. And places go out. And that's exactly what the Democrats, what the progressives want to do. They want to say capitalism can't work. We need socialism. We need communism. Because, see, it just can't work. Well, it can't work if you're stealing from them and there's no consequences for it other than the company or business moves away or goes out of business. These are all the things that must be brought out and just said, and let them try to defend, no, that's not the case. No, this happened because of this. And the stores can go, no, here's everything that was stolen. Here's our calls to the police. Here's their responses to that. You look in San Francisco and, you go downtown, the stores are empty. Because you just can't have a business there. It's just not safe. Los Angeles. They were, robbing trains with impunity. Police wouldn't even think about going in there and being caught in a situation where they had to shoot one of these people, that threatened them or did something. Hey, steal it. We'll fill the report out later. And if you didn't think that didn't happen, Google it. Google it. You'll find it. And it just wasn't on one occasion. It's a continual problem. Look at the murders being committed in Chicago. And you have Mayor Johnson and, has a dump truck or something, fitted out anti-ice. And illegals are killing people daily. Hurting people, robbing people daily. It's mind-boggling that the Democrats, who had for years been an anchor of safety and security, family values, just tossed it all out. Tossed it all out. Allowed their party to be taken over by 5%ers. People that think that it's all right for children to have sex with other men. That children should be exposed to cross-dressers, to homosexuality before they even know what it even means. And that is the Democratic agenda. We know what it is. We see it. And I blame Republicans for not standing up and going, you're not doing that. No, it's wrong. And we say, yeah, listen, anyone with brains won't do that. But you got a lot of stupid people out there that have no family values, that don't care about family values. You have parents that, my son wants to be a woman, so make him a woman. And, now they're forcing hospitals to go, well, we have to do what the parent wants, or we have to do what the child wants. Well, the child also wants a beer and drive a car. Would you do that? Buy him a pack of cigarettes. The logic of these Democrats who sit there and say, this is what it should be, this is how we should do it, isn't it? Can I just ask you one question? Can you define a woman? When you can define a woman, you come back to me and we can talk about other things. But I won't go any further with you unless you could define a woman. When they say, well, a man could get pregnant. Not through nature. Surgical intervention and science and stuff, maybe. But that doesn't mean that, the next crop of people are going to be able to do that. You're going to have to surgically intervention to do things like that. And even that, we don't know if it would work. The idea is so perplexing. It's like, why? Why would that even be an idea? Why is it because someone says, I dress like a woman, I am a woman? I feel like a woman, so then I am a woman. I feel like a man, so I am a man. And I want to be treated like a man. And accepted like a man. No. No, you don't. And we shouldn't have to accept that. We don't accept people who are screaming down the street and saying stuff as saying, well, that's, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you could be the Mad Hatter. So, oh, interesting. Now we're back. Lost my feed. My internet really, from Spectrum stinks. And I think that now I'm mad because the Spectrum is causing such problems with my internet connections that I think today is the day I switch. I can't take them. The dropout rates and the loss of services every day, 6-7 times a day. And I've checked the system over to make sure connections are good and nothing is wrong. It's just all blackout. My neighbors have the same problem with Spectrum. All right. The other tidbit in the news, you see the Democrats continue to lie about Iran. The Iranian war is going very well for the United States. We're achieving in just 3 weeks amazing results from a country that said we'll strike you with everything we got, we'll wipe you out, we'll wipe your military out, we'll destroy the Middle East. And we put them down to the point that they are begging for peace. They are begging. And Trump has now said, well, you want a week, I'm going to give you 10 days. I'm going to give you 10 days. And we'll go from there. We'll see how that's going. And you have people here, you have all these liberal commentators say, we're running out of ammunition, we're running out of this, No, we're not. No, we're not. What we were running out of was patience dealing with Iran, and every step of the way they lied. And they're still lying. They still just can't be open and say, yes, we're in negotiations. We would like to have an end to this. They can't do that. So now they're saying, we're getting 1 million people in the military and getting ready for, a land invasion. Listen, I'll put 3,000 or 4,000 highly trained Marines, Army, Navy personnel against your 1 million people every day of the week. Do I want that? No. No. Because there'll be casualties. We will have losses. There's no doubt about that. You go into combat when someone's shooting at you. Yeah. Guess what? Their bullets can hit you too. But I think our military and air superiority would decimate them in a matter of days. You wipe out their leadership again and their commanders. This is just their desert will drink your blood. And yes, there are, Secretary War said, well, Iran does have the capability of hitting London with a rocket. I don't, if you can push something into space, chances are you could hit London. Chances are you could hit the United States. Do they have that capability right now? No. It takes sophisticated capabilities. And just shooting a rocket from the end of a truck. Their rockets are overglorified scuds. They have some guidance in it, and they have hit targets that they've aimed at, but not to any great extent. And if they really had these type of wonder weapons, they'd be shooting them at our Navy. But they know better. We have a secret supply. We have a secret weapon. We've heard of this shit before from them. You know what we got? A boot. You know where we're going to place it? Yep. Right there. You don't want to come to the table? We'll just keep raining metal down on you. And that will be that. So, I'm going to end this in a few moments. The Iranian war will end with their capitulation, and they'll say they won, and America had to stop the fighting. They'll say whatever they want to say, but we have attacked their factories, their production points. They're not going to get anything new. They have no radar now. They're blind. Where is this wonderful Air Force we heard about? They have flying drones, which are effective to a point. If you're shooting against a oil facility that really can't be protected to any great extent, yeah. Try shooting it at a military base, and you're going to find out that it will get shot down. And there are military installations around a lot of the facilities, but, you shoot 1,000 of these drones at them, something's going to get through. You can't get them all. And they just have to be successful with one. But eventually they run out of that, and they have nothing, and they lose. And now you have Arab countries that are now going to be joining the fight. So I think that in the next 4 or 5 weeks, it will all end. Oil prices will kind of relax back down. The markets will recover. They always do. You hear from the Democrats. This is the end. Our economy is now ruined, and yeah. You're going to see what happens to you guys come November. It's just a matter of time. On the real back burner is ex-CIA Director Brennan. He's going down. And when he goes down, he'll be the first one, because that is a man without honor. He will name names. Now, if I was a betting man, I would take odds that Brennan suffers some type of medical emergency in the next 6 to 12 weeks. Or a piece of space junk will hit him. But he's walking the Green Mile, as far as I'm concerned. And that's from his own people inside that go, you know, as the Disney ride says when you get on Pirates of the Caribbean, dead men tell no tales. That's going to be Brennan. He's walking the Green Mile. I'm not saying anyone should do anything to him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is going to happen from people inside his circle. Inside his circle. As a warning to the others. Comey and a lot of these other guys are in for a rude awakening. All right, everyone, take care, be safe. Please give to a charity of your choice. Check that charity out. Don't become a victim when you're trying to help victims. If you're not comfortable doing that, please think about going to a food bank and donating food. They always need food. 1 can, 10 cans, whatever you can do. A monetary donation to those food banks goes a long way because they have a lot of buying power. And plus, they can use that money for something immediately pressing that they need to take care of. The beautiful fact is that most food banks are all local. So you would actually see your help working. Say a prayer. Prayer does work, regardless of what a Democrat might tell you. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I don't think I'll do a show tomorrow unless something really presses up today or over the weekend. And I'll be back on Monday. All right, everyone. Be well as I fade to